Bruin News Now is made possible by the generous support of C-Spire, Diatech, Mid-South Elevator, and Mississippi Premier Plastic Surgery. Bruin News Now is made possible by the generous support of C-Spire, Diatech, Mid-South Elevator, and Mississippi Premier Plastic Surgery.
St. Joe students collected bottled water for the Carmelite Monastery. I'm Leah Clark and I have more news.
Sancho Sailing team is making a splash this spring. I'm Willis Davis. I'll have more in sports.
I'm Kevin May. It looks like we'll see some great early spring weather this weekend. A great time to enjoy the outdoors. Weather, sports, and all the news for Friday, March 12, 2021 begins right now.
Live from the B&N headquarters on the campus of St. Joseph Catholic School in Madison, this is Mississippi's high school news leader, the award-winning weekly high school newscast, Bruin News Now.
Happy Friday, St. Joe. I'm Emerson Irwin. Welcome to the first live edition of Bruin News Now for the second semester. We have a great show planned, beginning with a look at the aftermath of last month's winter storm. As you may already know, the storm left the city of Jackson's water system in shambles and much of the city without water for days. Among those without water, the Carmelite Monastery in South Jackson and the 6 nuns who live there. When St. Joe students heard the monastery was without water, the Quill and Scroll International Honor Society for High School Journalists quickly organized a school-wide bottled water drive for the monastery. BNN's Leah Clark has more.
Since community service is a key value of St. Joe, when we heard that the Carmelite Monastery had been without water since the ice storms 2 weeks ago, we decided to help out. The International Quill and Scroll Honorary Society for High School Journalists, along with the St. Joe faculty and students, decided to hold a water drive to help those who were in need.
We put the word out Tuesday night and Wednesday during the school day. By noon Thursday, St. Joe collected 26 one-gallon jugs of water and more than 40 cases of bottled water. It was an impressive haul.
Each year at St. Joe, part of our growth and application of the calling of Jesus is to go out and serve the community in some way. This year during the pandemic, we've struggled just a little bit with our normal community service projects. But when the ice storm came along and we discovered after the ice storm that the residents of Jackson had no water, and specifically the sisters at the monastery in South Jackson had no water, one of our groups, the Quill and Scroll Society, pulled together and had a water drive for them to help others.
When the ice storm struck last month, it ravaged the city of Jackson's water system. Many Jackson residents were without water for days. Businesses shut down, some schools closed, and families went searching for help. Jackson residents who did have water were living under a boiled water advisory. And then there was the Carmelite Monastery. The monastery, home to 6 Carmelite nuns, had no water. And because they are a cloistered community, they only leave for doctor visits, to run errands, and to vote in elections. The Carmelites stay at the monastery and spend their days in prayer, and they needed help.
Yeah, you know, God has blessed us with so many people to help us, but at the beginning it was just fun when we saw the snow, because we are from the Philippines and we didn't have experienced any snow, so we were playing with the snow, but shuffled. But at the same time, we didn't know that we will have no water after that, so we were shoveling the snow and making use of it to make use of. We poured hot water in the snow so it will melt, so we used that to flash.
Enter the St. Joe chapter of the Quill and Scroll International Honor Society for High School Journalists. pulling together print and broadcast students, along with asking others on campus for help. The group was able to collect an impressive amount of water for the nuns.
Me and 3 other students went down to the monastery to help deliver the water, and it was a really great experience because we got to meet all the nuns and see where all of St. Joe's charity was going.
The bottled water drive is one example of community outreach that St. Joe students and the school community prides itself in. Others include food and clothing drives throughout the year. To collect such a large amount of water for this effort was nothing short of amazing. The water filled the entire back of one student's SUV. Sister Mary Jane and others at the monastery were floored.
And this will last us for how many weeks, you know? Yeah. This is the biggest that we received, and we are really thankful. You know, you are heaven sent. We never expected this. This is the biggest. So thank you very much. Journalism class, yeah, you are so blessed. We will remember you in our prayers. And for your success in life, you know, this is not a little act of charity. This is a big thing for us. So in return, our response is really to pray for you and your family, and that you will have good health and well-being and also success in your life.
As you can see, I'm not dressed like most reporters, as this was a last-minute effort to help the Carmelite nuns in South Jackson. Reporting for BNN, I'm Leah Clark.
Thanks, Leah. This was one of the biggest community service projects Quill and Scroll has sponsored. The organization is one of 10 honor societies at St. Joe. In fact, the honor societies recently held an induction ceremony for new members. But because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, the induction ceremony took place in the library. A video of the complete program is available today on the BNN YouTube channel. Today is the deadline to register for the Saturday, April 17th ACT, a national standardized test that many colleges use to decide whether to accept a potential student. If you miss today's deadline, the next ACT will be Saturday, June 12th, with registration due by Friday, May 7th.
There are several opportunities for ACT workshops around the community. We used to offer them at St. Joe, but due to COVID, we don't. All workshops are virtual.
Spring break officially begins today after G period ends at 2:55. Many students will be traveling while others will stay at home. However, many are anxious because this time last year, the coronavirus pandemic reached the United States. The pandemic forced St. Joe students to end the year taking classes online during the fourth quarter.
So report cards are coming out, and remember, if you didn't do as well as you wanted to this past quarter, you still have one more quarter to set new goals for yourself and to do your best and to finish strong for the fourth quarter and for the semester and the year.
When classes resume at St. Joe on Monday, March 22nd, St. Joe students will begin the fourth academic quarter. This will be students' final chance to improve their grades for the year. Also, when school resumes, look for third quarter report cards to be issued late that week.
If we go into lockdown halfway through spring break, I'll probably be really bored. I didn't like lockdown.
Coming up, Kevin May has the weekend weather forecast, and Josh Briscoe has the latest in Bruin sports. Don't go away because sports and weather are next.
I'm Kevin May, and this is your weekend weather forecast. This weekend will be a beauty. For the rest of today, look for skies to become partly cloudy with a high in the low 80s, followed tonight by a low in the near 60s. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. On Saturday, it will be a perfect day for a picnic with your special someone. Look for clouds in the morning, giving way to partly cloudy skies. The high will be in the low 80s. Clouds will move back in Saturday night, followed by a low of 58. On Sunday, look for a chance of showers at around 50%. The high will be 76 and the low is 62. Before you go, I have a question. Where do sheep go on spring break? The Bahamas. Enjoy this great weekend and have a spectacular spring break. I'm Kevin May, and this has been your weekend weather forecast.
Howdy Bruin fans, I'm Josh Briscoe, and this is the Bruin News Now Sports Report. Gliding in first is the Bruin sailing team. Sailing is a relatively new sport here at St. Joe. We don't hear much about the team, but they are just as much a part of Bruin athletics as any other sport. All of the action takes place on the Ross Barnett Reservoir. BNN's Wills Davis donned his sailing gear and joined the St. Joe team for this report.
The Sancho Sailing team sails on the Ross Barnett Reservoir. The team is led by head coach Laurie Collins and Nyla Miller. Sailing is just starting back after the season, getting cut short due to the coronavirus. The 33,000-acre lake serves as the state's largest drinking water resource and as a source of entertainment.
After 14 years of coaching swimming at St. Joe, I got asked to help with the water sport of sailing, our new sport as of last year.
Sailing is a team sport consisting of 2 members on the boat, the skipper and the crewmate. The skipper steers the boat and the crew works the head sail. In addition, sailing is a co-ed sport for grades 9 through 12. Students sail 420s, which are 4.2 meter dinghy boats. In terms of sailing, competitions are called regattas, which are a series of races. The team with the lowest score wins. However, if there's a tie between the 2 boats with the same score, the tiebreaker goes to the boat with the most 1s or 2s.
Sailing coach for the 4 teams for St. Andrews, St. Joe, MC, and Prep, and we practice Monday through Thursday. I've been sailing since I was like 8 years old, and during practice we'll watch videos and then rig boats and go out and either do races or just drills, and then we come back in and it's open to everybody.
While the goal of reaching their destination is clear, it can be hard to gauge the wind and reach their destination. The goal is to cross the marks and finish before the other team does. Our fall season is going to differ from our spring season because we're going to sail more regattas. The team is going to go down to the coast and sail teams like St. Stanislaus, Gulfport, Our Lady Academy, and Fairhope. St. Joe expects to do fairly well competing against these teams, improving every week through practice.
Alright, so when we get to the yacht club, it's about 3:30. We start rigging, and everybody rigs a boat with their partner. And then we all go out, and depending on the day, we do different drills and like starts.
Sailors have been hard at work, learning new skills that will help them with their second part of this season.
St. Joe just had their first regatta. Me and my skipper, Jack Clements, we came in second individually. But overall, St. Joe won as a team. This is Wills Davis reporting from BNN.
Thanks, Wills. Swinging in next is Bruin baseball and softball. Both teams are well underway in the 2021 season, and both have seen early season success. On Monday, the Lady Bruins stumped the Lady Bulldogs of Terry High School 16-2, and the Bruin baseball team followed up Tuesday with the win over Morton 11-5. The baseball team, 4-2 on the year, goes on the road tonight to face the Yazoo County Panthers. The game starts at 7.
I'm very excited for this season. We did drop the ball in our first game against Madison Central. We had 11 errors, but I'm hoping that we will be able to pick it up and we will have no problem with our district play. I have a lot of faith in my girls, and I just hope they have the same faith in me.
When spring comes around, it's not only baseball and softball season, it's also Bruin tennis time. The Bruin tennis team faced Northwest Rankin on Wednesday. The team hopes to build on their play in hopes of making a championship run this year.
We're off to a bit of a rocky start, but we're looking to improve. We've got a lot of new faces this year, me being one of them, and there's a lot of potential for building up the team for the future.
In Bruin golf, the golf team headed to Castlewood on Monday for a game against Northwest Rankin. The Bruins finished 4th as a team, and Rains Walker finished 4th overall. Then, on Wednesday, the boys team faced off against the St. Andrews boys team at the Lake Caroline Golf Course. The Bruins finished 6th overall, and Rains Walker placed 2nd. Next up for golf is the Clinton Arrow Invitational at Live Oaks on Tuesday, March 23rd. Last but not least, the Bruin cheer team held tryouts last week, and the roster has been announced. Congrats, ladies. Go to the St. Joe School website, www.stjoebruins.com, for the complete roster of the 2021 cheer team. This week saw tryouts for the Spirit Steppers dance team. Look for a roster to be released possibly later today. Check the St. Joe website. Also getting ready for next year is the Bruin swim team. If you are interested in joining the team, shoot an email to frontdesk@stjoebruins.com. That's all for this week's edition of the Bruin News Now Sports Report. I'm Josh Briscoe, and I hope you have a safe and fun spring break.
Thanks, Josh and Kevin. Looks like a great weekend and a great night tonight for Bruin baseball. Too bad they're not playing at home because the weather looks nice for a trip to DM Howie Field. Earlier in the show, I talked about the fourth quarter and the importance of ending the year on a strong note. Also in the fourth quarter is the school's largest community fundraising project, Bruin-thon, an annual event that raises thousands of dollars every year for the Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson. This year, the event will look a little different, but will still make a big impact. BNN's Carrington Fowler takes a look at how the fundraiser has helped Batson Children's Hospital.
For the kids.
For the kids.
Okay, for the kids.
Often, we hear this phrase repeated over and over in the months leading up to Bruin-thon, St. Joe's annual 8-hour fundraiser for Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital. The fundraiser is one of St. Joe's most anticipated events, and the Bruin-thon Planning Committee works year-round to organize the function. Students on the committee are able to work closely with the hospital and get a first-hand experience of service. A small group of committee members was even able to visit Blair E. Batson's brand new building to see what Bruin-thon helped make possible.
So I went and visited the new Blair Batson Children's Hospital, like the new addition, and it was really, really cool to see all the money that we've raised through Bruin-thon really like pay off and be something big.
Just being a part of Bruin-thon, even if I was the smallest thing, it just makes me feel so amazing knowing that I'm helping people who really need it.
Of course, students aren't the only ones impacted by Bruin-thon. All money raised from the event helps fund Blair E. Batson's facilities.
Joe Bruin-thon is our longest running dance marathon that's benefited the Children's Hospital. Yeah, so donations. So we're actually standing out in front of our new expansion, our Kathy and Joe Sanderson Tower. So these things like this are possible through community events like Bruin-thon. So funds in the past have gone to stuff like the expansion or current needs for equipment. So it can be a wide variety of things, but it certainly fills a big need for us.
Like everything else, COVID-19 has changed how Bruin-thon will work this year. The event will be held during the school day and will have all of the proper COVID-19 precautions in place. If you wish to participate in this year's Bruin-thon, be sure to grab a registration form and turn it in to Ms. Blanchard. For Bruin News Now, I'm Carrington Fowler.
Thanks, Carrington. That's it for this live edition of Bruin News Now. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the BNN YouTube channel, where you will find this episode and an archive of every edition of the newscast since production began in December of 2015. I'm Emerson Irwin. On behalf of everyone here at Bruin News Now, have a great spring break, and we'll see you when we return.